Welcome to Bakemas episode 8. Today we're making a homemade hot chocolate mix in a jar. With these ingredients, I think this is going to be really delicious. So to start, we need 6 ounces of bittersweet or semi-sweet chocolate. So I have 2 bars of 70% cocoa, and these are 3.5 ounce bars, so I might just take 1 square from each bar to make it the exact 6 ounces, for my own personal enjoyment. Shh, it's fine. This is the perk of being in charge in the kitchen. These are the kind of executive decisions you get to make. So for this, you do need a food processor. You might be able to use a blender. You just want to get all of your ingredients really broken down, and you're not going to be able to get, ultimately you might be able to get your chocolate into a fine powder, but the food processor is just going to help a whole lot. And we're just giving our chocolate a rough chop with a knife to help our food processor out a bit. So once you've given your chocolate a little bit of a chop, I think you're supposed to put this entire recipe, all of the ingredients, into a large food processor, but I just have this here baby food processor. So I'm going to be pulverizing my ingredients one by one. I'm gonna give these a pulse and clean off my table, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm really not sure how fine it's supposed to look. It kind of looks like wet sand, but my worry was that if I ground it too much, the cocoa butter would start extracting, and then it would start turning into cocoa butter, like peanut butter, but cocoa butter. So you're supposed to, in your food processor, combine your powdered milk. So I have 1 1/4 cups of whole powdered milk. I'll leave a link to that down below because I couldn't find it in my grocery store. You can usually only find non-fat powdered milk. I'm going to add my pulverized chocolate. See, a lot of it started sticking to the bottom. So let's get that out of there. And this might be a problem with just my food processor. I'm not saying this will be a problem if you use your food processor. Oh my goodness. It really wanted to start making its own chocolate bar down there at the bottom. But we're gonna give this a really good whisk. And I think mixing it in the food processor with your powdered milk and your 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. I'm using Hershey's Special Dark. The recipe, which I will link below, said to use Dutch processed cocoa. And if I can, I might take some of these big chunks in here out. I should have left those in there. Anywho, tip for you if your food processor did what mine did, break up the stuff that sticks to the bottom and put it back in your food processor. And I'm gonna give my 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar a little pulse too, because I have pretty large granules and I wanna break that down to a little more of a finer granule. There we go. Sometimes cooking is an adventure, and if you come across similar issues, tips on how to address them. And here's the thing too, you're gonna be putting this into hot milk, so these chunks of chocolate should melt okay, but they'll melt a lot easier if they're powdered. And lastly, wait, let me pulse up these chocolate bits that I still have. There we go, much better. And the very last ingredient, which, trust me on this, 1 teaspoon of fine sea salt. Just that little bit of salt. Salt helps make the flavors pop, and if you've ever had like a chocolate chip cookie with a little bit of salt on top, it just adds that little extra something something, and you're like, that is really good. It would be good without the salt, so if you're avoiding salt, feel free to leave it out. But when you have it in there, it just adds that little bit of extra. If you are making this all in the food processor, first add your chopped chocolate, milk powder, and cocoa powder. Pulse that all together, and then add your sugar and your salts for about 20 seconds. So with it all mixed together, go ahead and get out a wide mouth quart-sized jar. If you have a wide mouth canning funnel, that would be really helpful as well. And then go ahead and spoon your hot chocolate mixture into your jar. give your jar a shake towards the top just to level it out, give you a little more room. You might be able to pack this down. I wouldn't recommend it. You're gonna have a little bit left over probably. I'm not gonna fill it right to the brim because I want whoever gets this to be able to scoop some out. The author of this recipe recommends starting with 2 to 3 tablespoons of mix per 8 ounces of milk. So you heat up milk and then you add this to your hot milk. And absolutely add more. If it's not chocolatey enough for you, add more mix to your milk. So what I have left over, I'm gonna use this and make myself a nice cup of hot chocolate. So there you have it. Again, I'll leave everything linked down below. Please take note of the issues that I came across, that you may come across. Don't be discouraged. There's a way around it, even if you have to break up your ingredients and put them in the food processor one at a time. I'll leave the ingredients and the instructions for your gift recipient down below for you guys, along with links to these jars and my funnel in case that's something you may need. I would recommend putting the recommendation of how much milk and how much powder to at least start with, and then letting your gift recipient know that they can adjust how much mix they put in their milk to suit their taste. If you think this hot chocolate mix would be a great gift, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for more Bakemas videos. There are still 2 more to come. And if you missed the last Bakemas episode, go ahead, click here on screen, and I'll see you guys there.